Can building AI agents with a 5-step system, including hallucination, mitigation, and MCP standardization, actually make them production ready? After building 400 agents myself, I believe yes. In this video, I show you how, by building a legal multi-agent system, we use Google ADK and MCP. I also compare parsers like Docling and LlamaIndex to show you why step 3 matters so much. I'm Maryam, PhD with 20 plus years in AI, teaching AI agents in 90 plus countries. To start, let me show you how most people who built this legal multi-agent system and what is the big problem with that. So I'm using Google Antigravity as my IDE. You can download it on antigravity.google. It's exactly the same as Cursor or Visual Code. And because we are using Google ADK, we are going to import some libraries from Google ADK. Of course, legal has documents, so I need also some kind of PyPDF. I can get my API key, just have a read PDF tool using PDF reader, then having a happy pass agent using Gemini Pro. I give a description, analyze legal documents without a quality check. You're a legal document analyzer, extract key information from the contract. Use a read PDF tool, and this is our tool. Just giving an app name, user ID, and session ID. I determine it myself. Then I will set up a session. We'll do an in-memory session service. Give a service client session, then those information. Then we need a runner, which will use our agent, app name, and session. It's a bit of formatting, don't worry about it, just follow it. Then we're going to run it and get our final response. But there is a big problem with this approach. What do is thinking about LLM, okay, what's our framework, ADK, some tools, and some memory, and then we even put a UI around it and we ship it. That's how most people build AI agent. But if you look at the tools that I built here, so there is no safety, no OCR confidence checking, no validation, no text found if there is a text, return success, even corrupted PDFs are offered. And also for our agent, always provide actually confident answers, even when it shouldn't. No escalation mechanism. So when should we ask human in the loop? Really important, no boundaries on what the agent can and cannot answer. And it's prompt based, so everybody can just give it a prompt and bypass it. This is how we get to our step 1 of the 5 steps, which is called business understanding. Let me show you how to use 3 small swaps to make the agent, which was naive, and the tool that was naive, way more production ready. We are going to use Pydantic. PydanticAI is one of the modules of my AI Agents Mastery, because it's really good for controlling our input and output. First, we're going to do some state definition. So we know what's our input, what's our output. We are giving processing metadata, OCR confidence and document meta. And then we also have LLM output, draft response confidence score, citation. Then here it's the boundary. The boundary required and the escalation reason. And of course, a routing. This is the first swap that you need to do. And the only thing that you need to do is just using this typedict class. The next one is to fail-safe defaults. So we create an initial state. So we basically say, if you have a document, give it a score, confidence score of 0. So by default, it's not a good document. And there is escalation always required. And it's not validated, and you have to do check quality. So in this way, the document just not go through the process without any checks and validation. Then the third one, we want to do some input validation. What's allowed, what's not allowed. This is when you talk to your experts, to your business, and then ask them what are the things that needs to be in the boundaries and the constraints and in the limitations that you want your system to have. You can't just leave it to AI agent because it doesn't know your system and your business. What we do here is just we create that type. So we say we have some types, contract agreement, terms, policies, and the description. What it does is that it just use contract and agreement, but if it's an invoice, it's rejected, or for a malicious script, it's rejected, and we kind of build that safety. This next step is so often skipped, but if you're the one that is doing that, you're going to distinguish yourself as an AI engineer. Let me show you. We are talking about data understanding. Data understanding, it used to be this exploratory data analysis for machine learning, but for agent means knowing what the agent can and cannot reliably know. How would you do that? We start with data surface mapping. So we identify what topics exist, what formats exist, what is missing, and what is unreliable. The goal of first one is to know which questions the data can actually answer. The second one is uncertainty profiling. The assumption often is that more data, more certainty. And that's very dangerous because in regulated domains, we have data which are outdated, noisy, probabilistic, contradictory, and some data should inform recommendations and some not. We want actually this data to decision mapping. We don't want to feed all the data directly. We want data, reasoning, then decision. Let me show you Encoder. By the way, I made one module of my AI agent mastery for free. It's a deep dive into AI agents plus a valuable guide. It's the first link in the description. And if you're ready to dive in, you can join my 5-in-1 AI agent mastery. Also, link is in the description. Hope to see you there. So for data surface map, we can use something like can answer. Decision cannot answer, the reason, what kind of data is missing. If it can answer, have the coverage for a required topic. Very simple. Then we've got uncertainty profile. It has a specific average score of recency and consistency. And we'll say it's decisive, it's informative, or just ignore it. So we give a weight to it. Then we have data to decision mapper. This is where we just find our can proceed, stop at, and reason, and give that for each of the decisions. So at the end, your profile would look like, for example, for a legal liability clause, what's the last updated and what are the contradictions. Before that, you add a bunch of legal terms like liability termination payments. And then you start to map it. For example, what are the liabilities and warranty terms? And then what's the decision and what's the reason? Although this is really simple in coding and also understanding, skipping this because it's less techy can have really bad results at the end. So use these simple methods to do your data understanding. This next step is both fun and frustrating. We are talking about data preparation. I told you when we get to step 3, we will talk about our data parsers. Of course, we have PDFs. Let me show you the document. As you can imagine, that some of the text can be a little bit fuzzy if you use a very poor OCR PDF reader. So what we do is we compare 4 different methods. We need some extraction results. We build a class as before, a legal agent state, and extract with PDF. So the first method is just PyPDF PDF reader. The second one is very famous but lightweight library PDF Plumber. So this is the GitHub. We are using PDF Plumber and we give it confidence based on the number of word count. Then we go to LlamaIndex. It's also one of the big players in extracting documents, and you can use them for free. This is their website, LlamaIndex Confidence. Simple directory reader, and then reader load data. The next one is also extremely famous, Docling from IBM. This is Docling. What it says is it can handle a lot of type of documents, which is very handy. I barely have seen a GitHub this popular this fast. As you can see, the stars are 50K star and very fast. This is our last method. Docling also is very simple result document, export to markdown, then get the text and return it. So if I run the code, I have a document with about 3,000 words with 4 different methods. First one, PyPDF. It gives a confidence of 85%, then PDF Plumber 90%, then LlamaIndex, as you can see, number of the words are similar, 88%, and finally Docling 92%. So the best method is Docling, the number of words highest. You can take a look at the word count variance, and the final confidence would be about 79. And here we as I said, we need some guardrails. Okay, it's medium quality. Proceed with caution. The document type validation type is contract, is valid. And then we also give a final decision about our document. In this way, we basically cannot go wrong because we just do a comparison between different methods. And doing data preparation, you only can see the differences when you do the comparison and evaluation. If you have done everything that I mentioned in the last 3 steps, this step will be very easy. The only thing that you have to be worried about is your flow. So step 4 is about flow engineering, where you assemble your decisions and you put everything together, and that becomes your multi-agent system. Let me show you in the code. First, AI agents. I built it also in LangGraph, and LangGraph is with a graph, so you can see very easy which agent is handing off to another agent. So this is our state graph of LangGraph. You will have an agent generate, the other one an auditor, the other one is an output or response. I will start with the generate. So we want to build exactly the same in Google ADK, which is a little bit different. In Google ADK, our agents are either LLM agents or loop agents. We use very often LLM agents. So same legal agent state with all of the things that we have mentioned in step 1. Then we've got an LLM agent, give it a name, the model. We can use some of the Gemini models. By the way, if you want any of the Gemini models or change it, for example, these are all of the Gemini models. For example, we can use Gemini Pro here. If any of your agents are more complicated, you can use just more intelligent models. And as you can see, all of the information are here available, how that model works. Back to instruction. You are a legal document analyzer and extract key information, critical format, an example, description. And here is it that Google ADK is a little bit different. You do output key, that's kind of saved to a state. So draft response will be saved so the next agent can use it. Then we have auditor agent, same, it's a compliance auditor, use an LLM, instructions, we give them some rules, and then we can go to our router agent. You're a router expert, which says approved, proceed, or reject. It should regenerate, which is simply what we want is we want to regenerate things for us when we are not sure. That's all of the checks and balances that you need to do in regulated fields of industry. For example, in legal, in definitely privacy in healthcare, anti-money laundering, fraud detection. Then we can run it, app name, user ID, same as before, sessions. We create sessions, a number of sessions for all of our agents and running them with runners. When running, we always give an initial state where, as I said before, we always put escalation either to false or true. Also audit path to false or true. Give our document and the type. So now that we have our multi-agent system ready, most of the time you think, perfect, now I can go ahead and deploy it to outside world. But the problem is then you have to start with the next one and rebuild everything again. So what to do that we do not rebuild everything every time that we want to deploy a model? That's our step 5. Before going to step 5, as you can imagine, after we build our multi-agent system, we want to have some evaluation and explainability. But evaluation and explainability by themselves are a very big video. So if you want me to build a separate evaluation and explainability, please comment below. If I get about 50 comments in the first week, I will build that video. So what we want in our step 5 is having that reusability. How do we do that reusability? This is where MCP is super handy. If you're not familiar with MCP, think in a client-server architecture. If you go to a barista, you will ask what kind of latte they have. They will give you just a list of things that they will serve. It's the same with MCP. So we have this client-server architecture. We will ask, what kind of tools do you have for social media? And I would say Twitter, so X, Facebook, and Blue Sky, for example. So normally it is for each of your apps, each of your projects, you will have this custom implementation, custom prompt, custom data, and you repeat that process. That's fragmented. But if you want to standardize it, you basically have it all packaged and you can use it the next time. So let me show you how to do it in code. Building MCP server is very straightforward. You need fast MCP. Your fast MCP should have a name. And after that, basically everything that we have seen before. We had a Docling extraction, which was the best. So we choose that one. Then each of your functions is an MCP tool. So we had a check document quality that was before. We do all of that. Same code. Then we have validate legal citations, MCP tools. Again, MCP. The last one is extract contract metadata. And then we can also put all of the prompts in one. So analyze contract with governance. This is a prompt. Workflow steps, reality, intent generation, trust layer. So all of the steps that we want. Then we got resources. Here you can give all of the data. And finally, it's very easy, just do the MCP run. One thing that I wanted to let you know is that you can build AI agents or agents from different frameworks, or a LangGraph. Another one could be CrewAI. It could be Google ADK. We have done right now. We can just put everything in that MCP server and combine it. I teach all of these frameworks and I keep repeating they are very easy to combine because they are basically Python libraries. In this way, you can use actually the strengths of each of them. So LangGraph is very detailed. OpenAI and PydanticAI is more intuitive and in between. And the CrewAI is most conceptual ones. And MCP make it possible that you package everything. And you can also compare your agents and then find the best agent and let the result with the highest confidence to go forward. So now you know how to build production AI agents with that 5-step system. The next thing that you need is to build different projects to get a sense of what kind of steps you can use. And I have this video with 9 different projects from 9 different industries. I give you architecture, tech, and everything. It's a lot of value there. Check that out. I see you there.